Hello, Golden Eagles. This is Reed Hepler, and this is the Knowledge Nest, the podcast of the College of Southern Idaho Library. This week is especially exciting for me because this is week 28, episode 28, which means that we have been doing this podcast for more than half of a calendar year, and I am excited to take us through the next half of the calendar year and also through many other years of giving advice and answers to questions and information about how you can use informational resources and tools and find them throughout your college career and throughout your professional career. Also, this episode is being recorded 2 weeks before the start of the fall 2023 semester, so I anticipate having more listeners and new students that I can help. If you have any other questions or any other want to know more about other types of library things, we have 27 other episodes. And so please go to the YouTube channel of CSI or to Spotify, where this podcast is, and find other episodes. And if you want more information that's not covered in other episodes, feel free to message me, email me, find me at the library, and I will be happy to include other topics on this podcast. This is, of course, the front page of the library website. You can access this by going to csi.edu/library. And I want to show you a new book we have, The Maid by Nita Prose. This is the book we discussed in our last book club. And in our next book club, we're going to be discussing the book Book Lovers. And so that is on August 31st, and this will be our first book club of the fall 2023 semester, August 31st from noon to 1 here at the library. We're all excited to have you. We have a lot of other programs that we're going to be doing. We also have upcoming a trivia contest that's happening this Thursday, and it's going to be really exciting. We love doing the trivia, and we hear that all of you like doing the trivia as well, so we're excited to have you participate in that. I wanted to bring your attention briefly to two new buttons that we have on our website. We know that it is very busy also, and we're going to be working on combining and removing and updating the format of this website. But here we have the Pathways to Research button, which is new and accessible for students and faculty. It's a curated set of articles on various subjects. More on that in a few weeks when I discuss the new EBSCOpe interface with you. But here at the bottom, we have CSI Archives, and this has kind of been a passion project for me. When I was hired partially to create the digital collections and archives for the college. However, you can't have digital archives if your physical archives and collections have not been cataloged and recorded and organized. And so I first had to do the physical archives, and that's a work in progress. But now I was able to create digital records for the special collections of the college. And so I'm very excited to be able to show you this website. Hopefully, when you come to these archives and use them and use the collections, you'll be able to research the history of CSI, Twin Falls, and Southern Idaho, and show how the college interacted with members of the community and vice versa. So here's the homepage of the Special Collections and Archives. This is a header we have, kind of designating it as the Special Collections and Archives. This could be updated. It's quite large, but now you know where you're at, kind of, when you come to this page. And our acronym right now is CSI-SCA. Its purpose is to combine the present of CSI and Magic Valley and Southern Idaho in general with the past, and combine CSI with Magic Valley and show the connections between different groups in the community and their histories, and show how their collective memories interact with each other. We have academic records, administrative files, photographs, multimedia materials, personal papers, and digital records that are reproductions of these physical materials, and also standalone digital items. Our purpose is to preserve the history of the community and of CSI as an institution. And so we serve both the broader community, political and geographical, and the institution of the College of Southern Idaho. Here in this box, we have the various policies of the College of Southern Idaho. Here are the collections, access, and use policies, which I wrote up a few drafts, and then all the library staff, chose the policies and used best practices, but honed them for the use of CSI's archives. Here's the fluid version of that, but here's also the PDF version for accessibility. We have the copyright manual of CSI. I am the designated copyright agent of the college, and so I created this manual to help people utilize library resources, educational resources, and there's a section on archives materials as well. And so we have, again, the PDF version and the Word document version. And then here is a PDF of our collections development policy. This is an internal policy, but I included it here for transparency, and it outlines how and when the collections are built and how those former collections influence the creation of new collections. And it also explains the mission and the goals of the archives in the context of the library and the college in general. You'll see right here we have two divisions. Special collections are external collections. Archives are internal records created by the college. And so special collections are donated by individuals and organizations. And we have, as you can see, a few collections right now. We also have quote unquote collections that are aggregations of various donors. We have an antiques book collection, and then we have the Magic Valley History collection. And I'm trying to determine which individuals or corporations or institutions donated these works and kind of divide them into collections by their donors. But if not, we can have collections based on these subjects and these formats. Although I would like to have individual donors or institutions designated in their collections, but we do what we can according to best practices again and adapt it to our needs and our current situations. So right here is the Doreen Diamond Goertzen collection, and here's the metadata for that collection. I've talked in previous weeks about metadata, and this is the format that we use for archives collections, physical archives collections. It's called Encoded Archival Description, or EAD. And so first we have the address and where the collection is located, the title, the year range. These extent fields show that we have various formats and how much of these formats we have. We have historical records, books, newspapers, and photographs. Next, we have biographical histories of the donors or creators of the collection. And this explains that Goertzen was a historian, a poet, a journalist, and it explains what she did in her life to create or gather the materials in the collection. It doesn't explain all of her life, just that stuff that is necessary to understand what is in this collection. Below that, we have the scope and content of the collection. It explains that we have books, serials, newspapers, photographs, other records that examine the political, environmental, religious, and social histories of the area. Next, we have various restrictions. The first is a copyright statement. Well, we have the stipulation that these don't circulate and you can only view them in-house. And then we have the copyright statement that the creators hold the copyright unless they were created before 1927 and they're in the public domain. And then we have restrictions that are imposed by the fact that some of these items are in copyright. Researchers are responsible to conform to all copyright provisions and other provisions, and the copyright, the special collections and archives does not assume responsibility for this. Similarly to if you were to come and copy materials and we have the copyright notice next to the copier, this is a similar disclaimer for archives materials. Next, we have the people and subject and places that are covered in the collection. We have Boise, Magic Valley, journalism, and then we have the history. It's not enough that we only have the geographic location. We also explore the history of those locations. And then the form of the materials, biographies, local histories, newspapers, photographs, records, etc. These are related materials. You'll notice when I went to the drop-down menu that we also have a Virginia Ricketts collection. And so this section shows that if you go to this other collection, it will have materials that can be combined or compared to the Goodson collection. This section explains how we got the materials and when they were organized and cataloged in 2023 by yours truly. And then these materials were given by Doreen Goodson directly to the archives in a series of donations, and they were held in the archives until this present point. Finally, what most of you will come and see is the location and description and year range of these different series. We have serials, which are magazines and academic journals, books, newspapers, photographs, and historical records. And if you want more information, you can come in physically and look at any materials that you would like. We're going to have more detailed descriptions of these in the future, but this is the kind of the starting point for collections records, and we have all of our individual collections recorded in this manner. Eventually, also, we're going to have digital surrogates or digital versions of physical materials combined with our native digital or born digital materials. I want to explore first the Arthur Kleinkopf diary. And this is a single item collection. It's the diary of Arthur Kleinkopf, who was the superintendent of education at the Minidoka Relocation Center or internment camp. And it occupies 2 cubic feet. It's one book. And we have received permission from the copyright owners, who are his grandsons, to digitize this material and reproduce it in our digital collections for public access. And so this 601-page diary is going to be put online. And so we're going to have a link right here that says, go and view this. And then we're going to have another section over here with digital collections. And that's going to have, again, digital reproductions of physical items and things that were born digital that we want to have on there. College of Southern Idaho Archives, again, is internal. And I'm going to have a space that explores what exactly archives are and how they differentiate from special collections. But eventually we're going to have the records for internal materials from CSI on here as well. And so I hope that was a brief but thorough exploration of what archives are. And I hope that you come and ask me how